Hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm Maggie and I share my life traveling around China, living in Shanghai, and my birth parent search as an adoptee from China. Today's video is one that I don't think I really planned on doing, but 2025 has definitely been a different year than usual for me, and I wanted to celebrate my favorites from it. So let's get right into it. So 2025 was definitely a year of travel for me, and I think I went to over 18 cities across China. And definitely by far, one of my favorite trips of the year was going to Harbin. So I went in mid to late February and I did this as a solo trip and spent 5 days in the city. And definitely the Ice Festival and the Siberian Tiger Reserve were my two favorite parts, absolutely. It is beyond astounding how beautiful these massive ice sculptures are. And just to see the winter wonderland that city becomes, it was so much fun. Freezing, but like a once in a lifetime kind of dream. And then to see tigers up close, which is not necessarily a spirit animal, but definitely one of my favorite animals by far, was just indescribable to see these beautiful, majestic animals so close. So Harbin is definitely a must if you're coming to China anytime between December and February. I'd definitely add it to your itinerary if you can. So the next city I'd like to highlight is one that I think really caught me off guard and my friends when I told them, and that is Beijing. And for whatever reason, I really dragged my feet on visiting the city. And I think part of it was because it's always associated with China, obviously, which makes sense. But I felt like maybe it was overhyped, or, you know, when I asked people who had been to both cities between Beijing and Shanghai, which they preferred, most people say Shanghai, so I just didn't prioritize it as an option. I finally went in May because I was going to attend Apple to hear from some of their employees about what it's like to have, you know, American company in China. And when I say like this was one of my favorite trips, like truly, I think it's like the architecture, like the Temple of Heaven, I absolutely love. Like I would go back all the time if I could. The history surrounding it. I ended up going onto the Great Wall of China, which honestly had never been on my bucket list, but when I finally got there, there was just a moment where I'm like picturing what it was like, you know, thousands of years ago when you're standing on this wall protecting China, and I never felt so connected to my heritage as I did at that moment. Probably because it's one of those quintessential Chinese things that you think about of like pandas and Great Wall, and it was just such a beautiful moment that Beijing will always have a special part in my heart. The last trip I'd like to highlight is my Guilin and Yangshuo trip that I did back in November with some friends. And this is a location that was actually on my 2025 vision board, but I really didn't think I would be able to get over there in time because I wanted to go more in the spring and then it didn't happen. And I am so glad that I said yes to going to this trip with my friends, because being out in the mountains was just so relaxing and just inspiring. This is definitely a place, and if you're coming to China, that I would tell you to go and see if you're able to, because these landscapes are incredible. I don't think I've ever experienced where you're like literally right next to a giant mountain, which is just still mind-boggling to me, like the beauty that is in this location and how natural it is. And we went up on a hot air balloon, which was so much fun. I really wish I had an opportunity to go on this like really long cable car ride throughout the mountains, and there's just so much more in Yangshuo I'd love to see. Like if we didn't get a chance to see the sunrise, we went and saw sunset. So I would absolutely go back to Yangshuo if I could. But yeah, that was a fantastic trip to kind of round out my travel for 2025. So there are a few product items that made it into my 2025 favorites. And the first would be a DJI Osmo Pocket 3. So I remember when this camera came out and there was just so much hype around it, and I was like, really? And for whatever reason, I guess I kept watching maybe a lot of content about it early in 2025, and I was like, maybe I do actually want to get it. Of course, at that point, Donald Trump became president of the United States, and the prices for this product just started like going up and down. And it ended up being back ordered in China. And I had been talking to some friends who also had gotten it, and they had said there's like a month-long wait list. And so I kept thinking about like, do I want to buy it? Do I not? Should I buy it in the US or should I buy it in China? Note, like the creator combo in the US at Costco used to be like $499 for like the camera, a mic, some additional accessories and whatnot. In China at that point, based on the conversion rate, just for the camera, it was around $500. And then there was some additional, you know, if you wanted to upgrade and whatever. I went to the store and they were like, oh, it's out of stock, and that was it. And I was like, okay, but is there like a wait list? Can I, get added to it? And so thankfully I was able to. But this camera is one that I love the gimbal. I like that it's stable. And I really feel like it has pushed me to finally get over that hump filming myself and just start capturing the world. Some people really like it because it's a little more inconspicuous compared to other like major cameras where you're like, vlogging and you have a giant camera here and whatnot. I think it's still kind of obvious that you're filming, but I love the gimbal because it's like smooth footage. And there's certain situations where it's appropriate because it doesn't really have a zoom. So it's very much where you kind of need another camera to pair with it. So I usually pair my iPhone with it for like closer detail shots. But again, I really credit this camera for pushing me out of my shell and at least filming things. You guys haven't seen most of that because I still have a year's worth of content to like edit. But yes, that's the main reason that it would definitely be on my 2025 favorite list. So the next product I want to highlight is the SanDisk solid state drive. And this is a product that I actually remember coming out when I was in college, about probably 10 years ago at this point. And at the time it was really expensive. I remember a friend like talking about it and recommending it. And I was just like, no, like I was using my Lacy external hard drives. Like that was really big in the creator space and what everyone recommended. And so I had never heard anyone talking about this. Over the summer for Black Friday, I, for whatever reason, bit the bullet and bought them because sometimes I like just switching up between different SSDs and seeing what is my favorite. And when it came in, I was just like flabbergasted at the size. Like it's so tiny, and like compared to like my palm, the profile of it is so slim. And I love that there's this key hook. Not that I ever use it, but like I like that there's an option that I could just clip this to something. And for whatever reason, I love the shape of this. It writes really quickly, it reads pretty quickly. I've not had any issues. I do know that there was some scandal, I think, surrounding this in the past about corruption. I do like backing up any of my SSDs on another one. So there's definitely a lot of file redundancy, but I've been carrying this around all the time. I have one that has all of my raw footage and I have one that has all of my edited. And I really like these. So if you're into any kind of content creation, definitely consider picking it up. So one of the biggest challenges I had as a solo traveler was figuring out how to take photos of myself. And so I usually have like a tripod and then I prop my phone up. But what I would do is either, put the timer on and then race to the spot and then go back. Or I sometimes had my clicker and I would just click and hope for the best, and usually also have the clicker in the photo. Or sometimes I would use the Apple Watch as like the shutter for the camera. But like that gets really annoying when you have to keep clicking because I don't think there was an interval timer on it. So I was like, at some point when I was in Harbin, I was like, there's gotta be another option for this. So I ended up discovering this app called Lens Buddy, where you can change like whether you want the photo shoot to start instantly or wait for 10 seconds or 30 seconds or whatnot. You can change the interval so that it can be motion activated or just every so many seconds. You can have it take an infinite number of photos until you tell it to stop, or like a certain amount, so like 10 or 20 or whatever. And then you have options of, is it a live photo? Is it a portrait? Is it what the ratios? There's a lot of control over what you can do with this app. And I really, really love that. And then I think also what I really enjoy is like, not only can you take the photos, and then if it's live, then like if you're blinking in one, you can move, the thing across, is that it also captures video. So I have a lot of the behind the scenes footage of me taking these photo shoots that like, I haven't used it yet, but it could be used for reels in the future. And I think it's just like kind of fun to have that as a background. So if my focus is photos, I still have some element of video, even if it might not have a ton of use right now, but I love that flexibility. I do pay for it. So like just a heads up that there is a subscription cost associated, but I think it's like $29 a year or something like that. So for me, it's definitely like absolutely worth the money. And that's how I got all of my photos between February and now. Is if I'm taking it on my phone, I'm usually doing the Lens Buddy so I can also get the video footage too. So definitely an app that I would recommend checking out if you're at all into content creation and run into that same issue as me. So definitely by far one of the best tools for content creation is this tripod that I'm gonna recommend. the way that the legs are situated, it's like very clean and they kind of all condense so that it's like a tube. So there's no rough edges. It's really easy to slip into a purse or into a book bag where like a water bottle would normally be. It has a great trigger that you can use, and then it can be used as like a tripod or like a selfie stick. And I don't use the clip that it came with. I purchased a Ulanzi MagSafe phone holder so that it just magnetizes to my iPhone 15 Pro Max, because it's so annoying if you want to get something and then you have to like struggle with the little clips to fit around your big phone and whatever. So this mount is just so much easier. I can switch it between horizontal and vertical really quickly, and it has just like cut down on the hassle of doing content creation. So if you're in need of a new tripod or a new mount, like definitely this combo is like the perfect dream. So when I first came to China, my friend Howen helped me out so much. Like, he ordered my titi from the airport to my hotel. He had food delivered, he had snacks delivered. Like, he truly like made this whole process so much smoother, and I can't thank him enough. And one of the things that he sent to me a few months into my like China experience is this panda pillow. Like, it was something that he's like, oh, like give me your address and expect whatever to come in the mail. And I opened it, and like, this makes me so happy. This panda pillow that the zipper, you unzip, you know, is his like little tail, and there's a whole freaking blanket inside. Like, it was such a fun gift, and I was so sad because I had to leave it in China over the summer because I just didn't have the luggage space. That was the one thing that was still in China that I was like, if I don't come back to China in the fall, like someone has to ship it to me. Like there was no question that it was gonna come home somehow. So this is definitely a favorite from a decor standpoint, from the memory associated with it. Thank you so much, Howen, if you're watching this video. I decided to bring it home. Now, as much as I would love to still have it for January through June in China, I am again concerned about my luggage space, and so I really wanted to make sure that this was one thing that came home with me. So definitely a favorite for the memories, for the quality, for like all of it. So thank you, Howen. So one of the biggest challenges I think a lot of Westerners face is where to buy clothes in China, especially if they're, you know, taller or a little bit bigger than what is considered, you know, traditional beauty standards in China. And despite being like, you know, ethnically Chinese, I am definitely on the larger side of what would be socially ideal for the Chinese woman. And so a lot of my friends recommended that I try Uniqlo as like a place to go and get clothes. Well, where I lived in South Carolina, there's not a Uniqlo nearby that I'm familiar with. So historically, I've not been super familiar with the brand. So when I went in, I didn't really necessarily click with a lot of the styles, although it was definitely affordable. But I think either because my friend had this or based on like social media and I got roped in, I decided to buy one of their bags. And it is this one. I have no idea what it's called. I think maybe like an everyday pack or whatever. And I got it in blue. So this is actually a gift that I got for a friend. And I swear I use that bag like, I think at least 50% of the time. I alternate with a few other bags, but like that was one that I used like all the time. It was big enough to carry my phone, an external battery pack, lip gloss, tissues, and maybe like the DJI pocket. Like there was a lot of room, and it was just so simple to carry across your body and like sling it around. And since it was so cheap, I also wasn't worried about like damaging it or getting it dirty or whatnot. So if you are looking for an affordable bag, honestly, like in China, this is about 99 yuan, which is roughly $14. I think in the States, it's like $24 to $29. But like when I say I use this all the time, like I definitely did. And I got my money's worth for sure. So it is a great gift, I think. So this next product favorite is one that definitely takes me by surprise. I, in general, am not someone who really wears makeup often. Like I will sometimes to dress up if I want to, but like for the most part, I'm usually going barefaced. And the product I really want to highlight is the Rare Beauty lip gloss in Nearly Apricot. So I don't know why, but when I was in China, I was using this lip gloss like to the point where I ran out. And I've never, I think, ever run out of lip gloss before because I just don't put it on that often. I think maybe the last time I ever ran through an entire product like that is like Lip Smackers back in when I was like elementary school. And that, if that says anything, something about the color and the formulation is just chef's kiss. And I love that I can put this on without really needing to like check when I'm just like out and about. And I was really sad because I was getting low in China and they don't sell Rare Beauty in that country. So when I got back home, like that's one of the first purchases I made. And I've gotten a few of the other colors, but they don't look like as good for me as this one. That's just like a very like beautiful pink that matches almost any outfit. So definitely one of my favorites that I will continue repurchasing, even though I have a crap ton of lip products that I just never use. One of the things that I always disliked doing was having to return my Taobao orders when it came to clothes, because I'd have to go to the mailroom and then try to communicate brokenly with this person on how to return it, and then I just never knew if I was doing it properly and whatnot. So honestly, when it came to shopping for clothes in China, I really liked going in person and trying things on, which is like completely opposite to how I am in the US, where I'd rather just have everything shipped to my house, try it on in the comfort of my home in front of my own mirror with my other clothes, and then ship back, even if I have to pay for shipping things that I don't want. So one of the stores that I found in China is called Urban Revivo. And the only way I can really describe it is like H&M and Zara, but at like Target prices. Maybe a little higher than Target prices, but not at the level of Abercrombie prices necessarily. So the quality that you get with Urban Revivo pieces is just so much better to me than H&M and Zara. Like I would not shop at those two stores. Like in general, I never did, but like I really wouldn't now, because I feel like I'm so spoiled with Urban Revivo. Not to say that they don't have some pieces that are like, but especially if you can get things on a discount. So I got my all-time favorite jeans from the store, and they have like rhinestones in the shape of flowers on them, and they are like ridiculously cute. And I don't think I've ever gotten so many compliments as I have in these jeans. I got my winter coat from there. I got a lot of my like tops from there. So I have to be very careful because I could definitely spend so much money there, but I love this store so much. If you're in China, this is definitely the store that I would recommend checking out. So the next item I really want to highlight is a jewelry brand, because the first year that I was in China, what I wanted really as a souvenir was like some kind of like handmade jewelry. Like I grew up in an artsy community. My mom used to own an art store. I used to own an art store. Like it's something that's like in our family. And I really love jewelry. And last year I found a few pieces here and there, but like not, a ton. And that was definitely a goal of mine this fall when I went back. And so I went to this one place that I think was called M50. And it was a building that had a lot of like, I think pop-up stores where there was just, clothing and outdoor stores. I don't know. There was a lot of like miscellaneous things. And one of them happened to be this jewelry brand called Mohomand. I honestly don't know how to pronounce it out loud. I've only just read it. And I loved their jewelry so much. And I think I got like 3 pieces in store. And like the rings were relatively affordable because they were only like, I think 499 yuan, which is maybe like $80. So in comparison to the US, it was not as high as I thought it would be. I will say, this is not actually like a handmade brand. It's one that's actually mass produced, but the styles are still like something I've never seen before. And for the price, like I freaking love this jewelry so much. So since it was around 11/11, I went on their Xiaohongshu and I went on their Taobao and I purchased like a stupid amount of jewelry. So I think I have like 12 pieces of their jewelry now. Most of it is all rings. Their Year of the Snake jewelry was absolutely stunning. So I have a locket from them, I have a bracelet, and then just like a crap ton of rings for sure. So definitely a favorite of 2025. It came in right at the end, but like some of my all-time favorite jewelry ever. And another brand that I really like is, I don't know the actual name of the brand, but I bought it from this company called Chinese Medicine. And it's like a store in Shanghai, and I think they also have a store in Beijing. But I went in person and I didn't purchase anything there, but I went on their Taobao and was like looking through it a little bit more, and I tried on some of these earrings, and they are just like some of the most beautifully crafted like pieces of jewelry I've ever seen, and they're so unique. And definitely like I wasn't really wearing earrings before, and this is what makes me want to wear earrings again. Like that's the level of beauty that these pieces are. So I was racking my brain trying to think of the top performances or events that I went to in 2025. Something I really enjoy doing is just going to like concerts or like things that, I don't really understand what's happening, but I still enjoy them. And one of the more recent events that I really enjoyed was the Shanghai Open Masters. So I had some friends who went last year, and I didn't even really realize it was in Shanghai or like thought about it. This year I was able to get tickets not for the last 2 days, but the day right before semifinals. I didn't think I would really know anyone, but it would still be fun. that ended up being the day that Roger Federer was playing like a Federer and Friends match, and the person he was playing it against is one of my like favorite actors. His name is Wu Lei. He was in Love Like the Galaxy, which is one of the best all-time romance C-dramas there is. And so it was so much fun to like see him. And when I first saw his name, I didn't really recognize it because it was in like the Chinese. I know his English name, but truly like one of the biggest surprises that I am so happy I went to. The other one is if you're ever going to Yunnan province, in Lijiang, there is this like Impressions of Lijiang show, which was just breathtaking. Like you have the mountains and you have the dancers, and it was just so mystical and mysterious, and like you have no idea what the actual dance is really that much about, but just like the backdrop of the mountains is stunning. And we lucked out and got a security guard who saw that we were foreigners and let us into the VIP section. Like we didn't pay for the VIP section, so I was really confused and we went and sat normally. And he went and got us to like let us go into the VIP section. So like huge shout out to that person. Hope karma, like good karma is headed his way. But this was such an incredible show that like just visually was amazing. So those were my two highlights and events for the year that I would definitely say are favorites. Along the lines of performances, there are two cultural experiences that I really, really enjoyed. The first is when I went to Nanning, I went and saw an iron flower performance, which I didn't really know what that meant, but I had seen a few videos on Xiaohongshu, and it's where they melt like the molten ore and then they like hit it to make this beautiful performance. And so I went twice when I was in Nanning, and I happened to see it again in Xi'an, and it is just such a cool visual show, and it was really special to me to have seen that in the city of my, birth, or quote unquote, and just like I literally could probably watch that every single night. I love it so much. The other thing that I really enjoyed was seeing the auspicious clouds in Shanghai, actually, for the October fireworks show. And this is just something that I've seen on Xiaohongshu, and it's a really beautiful display. And I actually put it again on my 2026 vision board to go see it again, because it's just like, it is incredible what China has been able to create, and just part of it being China created fireworks and it's part of their heritage, and I just really love seeing that display. So that is another thing that is definitely on my 2025 favorites. So a special shout out to Kawa and Shangri-La, who I met when I was visiting the Yunnan province. So my friends and I kind of wandered into this small shop, and we just started a conversation with the owner, and he spoke incredible English, and we just learned more about his background and who he was. And we found out that he, I think, was from Tibet and studied in somewhere that I can't remember right now, and is like one of the last few people who remembers this really ancient art of calligraphy. And we were just like so fascinated with the beauty of this art and what he was doing, and he offered to teach us, which is not something he normally does. And so the six of us just sat around and learned more about him and this art, and it was just one of the most authentic cultural moments that we've had in China. And so definitely a very special moment that is on one of the top memories in 2025. So a lot of people ask me if I really miss the food in China. And as someone who has like 30 plus food allergies, I'm pretty picky because I don't want to die, essentially. And when I say picky, I mean pretty basic. So my favorite dish in China is by far like the beef and broccoli, or like beef and bok choy with some rice. Like it's something that you can honestly buy from like any city you go to in China. But there's this one place that I got food delivery from that I just really, really loved. And I mean, when I say I loved it, I mean, I got it like for lunch and dinner. I was so sad when I moved to my apartment in Shanghai and they don't deliver to my location, which is like heartbreaking. Like I literally, if you go through my Meituan, it's literally all the orders. There's another location a little further away that does deliver, which is kind of like mind-boggling that some store 9 kilometers away would deliver it to me, but like whatever. So I will order from them every once in a while. But I'm ordering like 2 at a time, like no joke. So that is definitely a favorite. The one caveat is that there's not a physical store that you can go and eat at. And my Chinese friends have definitely said like from a health standpoint, that's not one you really want to trust. But I've never gotten sick from it. Several of my friends really enjoy it too. So take that with what you will. But I freaking love this thing so much. I did recently find an alternative for my apartment that's a little bit closer, and a little bit healthier because I think it's definitely fresh. But for 2025, like this one dish has been my go-to forever. It's also sometimes 18 yuan if you use the discount section of Meituan versus the normal 28 yuan. So definitely check the discount and make sure to buy the coupons so that you can stack up in the future if, you know, you're going to China. Love it so much. I can't believe I almost forgot to add this to my favorites. But by far, one of the biggest purchases I've made in China is chaji. So we are totally blaming Bu for this. One of my friends who I remember we were in Zhujiajiao and she was like, oh, we've got to go to Chaji. And I was like, what's Chaji? And she's like, oh, it's like milk tea. And we went and I mean, I got something, but I didn't love it. But then for whatever reason, somehow I just kept ordering it. And now I get it all the frickin' time. Like to a point where if I'm getting it delivered, I get 2 of them. I get a hot drink and I get a cold drink and I put the cold one in the fridge for the next day. If you can tell from my excitement, like I freaking love Chaji. I don't know why. If you're in China, go and get Chaji. They finally came to the US. There's one in LA. I think there might be one in New York and I'm like so jealous that they have it there. Can't wait to go back to China and get it. It's not even necessarily like that great from a flavor standpoint, but something about it I freaking love. And I loved it so much that I got a little plushie of it. But oh my God, yeah, definitely go to Chaji. I think for me personally, when it comes to like teas in China, I don't like any texture in it. Like I don't want popping pearls or, you know, any other like add-ons or whatnot. Like I don't want textured, I just want something simple. And so that is why I really like Chaji, because like it's just like the milk. I'm so hyped now because I'm thinking about Chaji, like that's how much I love it. So yeah, if you're in China, I get the peach tea. I don't know what it's called. It's peach something or another. I get it hot. I used to get it full sugar, but then people are like, oh, that's really bad for your health. And I'm like, have you seen American drinks? Like this is nothing. But I've noticed that there's not really, for me, a taste difference between 100% sugar and like 30% sugar. So I just usually try to cut out as much sugar as not as much. I try to cut out some of the sugar if I can. And I mean, I drink it right before bed, which some people are like, how? Because like it has caffeine in it, but like I've personally not noticed an impact on me. And then the other drink I get is usually the boya drink, and I get that cold with half the ice. And it's just like, yeah. So that is it for my 2025 favorites. If you have your own, I'd love to hear about them in the comments below. Otherwise, like and subscribe for more content, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Need to breathe. Chaji, 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 Chaji.